Right, morning ladies and gents. Welcome to Saturday morning, the 17th. And I'm following something a bit unusual. Right, so this is the field in front of us that I was helping out with the harvest. We had the little case in JXU down that end, little 90, bit flat tyre. And this is what's come up so far. Not looking too bad. He has got a lot of stone coming up there. And next door is the maize field. So this has come on quite well. This is the first time round us we've had maize grown. I'm not sure what size field this is, to be honest. Must be knocking on a 20 acre field. So hopefully I'll get some footage of them harvesting. Right, so they're just pulling down. It's a Jaguar 870. So in a class, I think it was an 872. Well, I have to double check. I think it's full. Just tried to have a word with the lad in the forage harvester. But obviously I was a bit busy, so I've not filmed anymore because I don't really want to film them if they're not happy about it. Because I've changed my phone over. I haven't got the number for the farmer. I need to sort it out, so we're up here at the yard. Wet again, grade A, useless. What I was going to say is the truck has got some new boots on it. I bought some new tyres for it. So I did say before I was going to change them over. These are the Marshall tyres that I bought. I don't remember what size they are now. They are 235s, 85/16s. Basically I was going to go for BF Goodrich or Cooper's and then find the price of them. And I found out they weren't cheap. So these came in at about 130 quid shy off for fitting, balancing and taking the old tyre away. Whereas the Coopers and BS were nearly 180, 190 quid. I've probably done 100 miles on them. You've just about taken tags off the tyres. But so far I'm quite pleased with them. So while I wait for the Land Rover to cool down, I'm going to start this big girl up. As you can probably tell, it's not going very far because I've got everything around it. But after doing the power steering, I bought some fluid. Now I'm going to put that in, bleed her through, and hopefully get her working again. And see if there's a leak under her. We'll see. Right, garage door open, get it started. Job to carry it. Right, so she's started up fine. The fluid's in. It's very smoky in here. So here is the power steering fluid. There is actually a little, where the lever is, there's actually an indentation in the steelwork. So I'm happy with that. That's full. A couple of side to sides. A couple of turns with the wheel to make sure that fluid's in there and we're all good. Look under here. And there's no new drops so far. Nothing's chucking out, which is a good sign. That's one job done. Now to put the grill back on the front of her. I also dip the oil just to make sure she's got enough oil in the engine. I think she might be a bit shy. Right, so we have started her up. Time to check the oil. You can take this panel off, but I haven't. So you can see the filler port and your dipstick, both coloured red, or were coloured red anyway, to indicate where oil goes. When I did this service, I did a full filter change as well. So in the handbook, I think it's about 11-12 litres for the engine, and then obviously it's another litre or so for the filter. Now I've been and started her up, which is what it says in the handbook. Basically, the reason you do that is because this engine's got oil galleries all around it, and before you dip it, you want to fill all those galleries up so that the system's full. Then you dip how much is actually in the engine, which then tells you if there's enough. If you don't do that and you dip it when it's cold and all the oil's in the sump, you can get basically a false reading out of it. So you could then work it all day long with very little actually feeding the engine. So start her up, leave her a couple of minutes to run, dipstick out, and then check. Now I'll wipe this off. Hopefully you can see there is actually some indentations on there. So there's a full mark and your low mark, or your high and your low, whichever way you want to put it, on your dipstick. And it's just simple, the same again as anything else. Stick it in, leave it a few seconds, pull it back out, and then yeah, there is actually, I have put a bit in before, but it's right up to the top here anyway. So a little bit more, just to bring it up to mark. That can go back in, that can come off, and I've got some oil. But if you notice down here, there's actually a pipe that runs off to the front. That goes to the hydraulic tank. So this whole girl is actually full of engine oil for hydraulics. It's actually a multi-grade oil rather than just an engine oil. But you can actually run engine oil in the hydraulics because they're separate from the engine. So if you do overfill the engine, the excess gets pushed into the tank, into the hydraulic tank, which is the same on the mogs as well. So if you've got a unimog and there's a pipe running from the engine down to the hydraulic tank, it's just in case you overfill your engine. Another job done. I'll just double check it, make sure my conscience is clean. Yeah, that'll do me. I'll check it anyway when I start using her. Right, so we're back on the TD5. I've got the essentials. I've got 15mm spanner, my tray. I love these trays, they're really good. I need some more. They're magnetic, so nothing will fall out. But they're also magnetic on the bottom as well. I'm trying to remember whether something's deep, that'll do. So they'll actually stay as well. And obviously my brew. So last bolt out now. And then we'll see. I've actually got a puddle already underneath the truck. Does help if you remember which way to go. And lift the cover off. We seem to have quite a bit of oil kicking around. Seems quite a bit from the top of there. There's oil on the filler cap, but that's fairly clean, so I think that's from when it's been filled up before. But this is what I think is leaking. I'd say so. So I think there's actually a seal that's supposed to go around the back of that. Oh, that's good as well, isn't it? I'm taking that's been a bit warm. So yeah, I went to see Land Rover lad the other day and he said that there's a seal on the front that can sometimes go. And I reckon that's probably it, because there's oil all the way down here. All the way down that side. I don't know how well you can see on top of the power steering arm. It's all down there. And I've got some drips on the floor, and they're from me this morning, that one and that one. So what I'll have to do now is just dip her as well and see how much oil is in her, just to make sure we've actually got some in. Yeah, happy with that. That's up to the top. So yeah, just might need to investigate why that's leaking as well. Doesn't feel too bad, but that does look still black rather than that that's actually clean. But we'll give her a scrub up, and then I can actually see when I run her again if this is a problem up here. Might also be a case of that seal wants resealing wet rockers there. I presume that's a rocker cover anyway. Right, that's about all I can do. Just need to find out about that cap now, see what score is. And so I think it's just a seal around the back of that, it's gone. Right, so a quick look in this box of bits. Now, one of the reasons I bought the truck that I did, is because I know the lad that owned it and know how good he was at buying stuff and repairing it. So there are all sorts in here. Probably about the only thing he didn't buy. Right, so I can't find a spare part, and half my numbers are still on my old phone, so I can't ring one of my mates up who's down the road who might have one. So that's alright, I know now what it is. Put a new seal in there. Well, I think I know what it is anyway. Put a new seal in there. Happy days. So let's say it's a new truck to me within the last 6 months, so I'm still trying to find my feet with it. I trust the lad that had the work done, well, had this truck before me and had his work done on it. I trust his work. He's run them for longer than I have. So yeah, that'll do. Right, bonnet down. Time to enjoy my brew.